Welcome back. In our last session, we saw how Jesus cast a demon out of a young man after addressing the unbelief of the father. The father had made a statement to Jesus, "But if you can do anything, have compassion on us." Jesus had replied to him, "If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes." The father responded, "Lord, I believe. Help me in my unbelief." Jesus then healed the boy. In Matthew 17, we read Matthew's account of this situation. I want to begin reading that account as well, and to see a slight difference that Matthew includes in his recollection of the moment. It begins in Matthew 17, beginning verse 14. We read, "And when they had come to the multitude, a man came to him, that is Jesus, kneeling down to him and saying, 'Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is an epileptic, and suffers severely. For he often falls into the fire and often into the water. So I brought him to your disciples, but they could not cure him.' Then Jesus answered and said, 'O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Bring him here to me.' And Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Then the disciples came to Jesus privately and said, 'Why could we not cast it out?' So Jesus said to them, 'Because of your unbelief. For assuredly I say to you, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. However, this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting.'" Now, in Matthew's remembrance of the event, he includes a rebuke from Jesus toward his disciples regarding their unbelief. We see a lot to glean in this exchange between the disciples and Jesus. First of all, the casting out of the demon out of the boy required faith by both the one requesting the action, the Father, and the one who was going to answer the request, the disciples, then Jesus. Second is the consideration of what can be accomplished if we had faith. In that first situation, the demon wasn't cast out until Jesus came, because as Jesus shares with the disciples, they weren't able to cast it out because of their lack of belief, because of their unbelief. But when Jesus came, that problem wasn't there. When we go to prayer, it's really exciting from the perspective that Jesus is the one to whom we go to in prayer. There was a point where Jesus was talking to Philip, and Philip said, "Lord, show us the Father, and it suffices us." Jesus said, "Philip, have I been so long with you, and you haven't recognized me?" That as I go then to the Lord in prayer, I know that I'm going to the one to whom faith is all in all. There is no lack of faith in the Lord. So then it comes to my ability, to my belief, to my faith. To this, Jesus tells the disciples, if you had faith the size of a mustard seed is the smallest of the seeds. We'll talk about that in a couple sessions from now. He says, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Do you remember Jesus, where they're at when Jesus talks about this? We talked about that in the last session. This is at the foot of Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon was a huge mountain. And they're sitting there, and Jesus is just kind of pointing to it. He said, you could say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it would be done for you. If you had faith, even the size of a mustard seed. So again, the question begs asking, do you believe it? Remember, Jesus told us we're going to have to change the way we think on things. Do you believe it? Do you believe that if you had faith just the size of a mustard seed, that if God desired for you to be the means by which he would perform a miraculous event, that through you, he would move a mountain from here to there. Our petitions are not only a window to our selfishness or God-centeredness, but also to what we believe about the ability of God, or the truth of God's words to us. I encourage you today, once more, to go before the Father and say, Father, I believe. Lord, I believe. Help me in my unbelief. Spend some time in fellowship with your Father today, who desires to do exceeding abundantly above all that you ever ask or think. And have a blessed day.